New games coming over to Xbox Game Pass. Could Platinum be working with Xbox again? And PlayStation has announced another acquisition. Alright guys, before we jump into this, if you enjoy this video, please consider hitting that subscribe button, as I see a lot of you are new here. So July's second half of Xbox Game Pass games have been announced, with 6 games coming to the service. Obviously, the main one that a lot of people are looking forward to is As Dusk Falls, which is a brand new day one narrative driven style of game that is on the service, available right now. But let's go through all the games. Like I said, As Dusk Falls available right now, day one on Xbox Game Pass. A lot of people have already played it. A lot of people have been reviewing it. And right now it is sitting currently, as I'm creating this video, a 76 on Metacritic, which isn't too bad. It's been getting lots of 90s, lots of 80s. There's also those very much lower scores that obviously bring down the overall Metacritic score. VGC giving it a 40 or a 2 stars out of 5. But from everything I'm hearing and seeing so far for this game is that it is a pretty interesting game and it's worth playing through, and there's tons of different outcomes and options that occur depending on the choices that you make, on the QTEs, if you fail them or not, all of that type of stuff. Now, I'm going to play through this game, I think, and it's not really my big cup of tea as the type of games that I like. I generally like games with a lot more gameplay involved with them. But this is what I'm interested in seeing what the story is all about. I'm here, it's really fun with co-op, so I'll probably do that and just give it a go. And maybe it's going to be a story that attracts me to stay through the entire game from beginning to end. And it being a rather shorter game, I'm hearing it's only about 6 to 7 hours long, which is perfect for a game like this, especially if you have to make different choices. And then if you want to play through it again, you're not going to want to play again quickly through another 20 or 30 hour experience. You're going to want to play through a shorter game in order to see what choice will change the outcome that you previously got. So I think that's going to be the coolest part out of all of this, is that seeing how the choices change as you go through, then going back and getting a different outcome, and then having that co-op integrated where you play with somebody who makes certain choices and then you play with somebody else who will make different choices, and the story will change. After that, there's Sins of Solar Empire Rebellion, which is an ID at Xbox game. It's a 4X real-time strategy game. I believe this is just the expansion to the Sins of Solar Empire game itself. And this came out a long time ago, I think back in like 2012 or something. It is a PC game and it is an ID at Xbox game. After that, you have as well available today will be Watch Dogs 2, which in my opinion is a very, very good game. I really loved Watch Dogs when this first came out. It's not a newer one. There's also the one that came out after that, Watch Dogs Legion, which I haven't played yet, but Watch Dogs 2, it was way better than the first Watch Dogs game and overall was a great game. The world was really fun. The characters were really cool. The gameplay was a ton of fun. The story was good too. So if you haven't played Watch Dogs 2, you're into this series, you're into like an open world cyber hacking style of game, I would definitely recommend checking out Watch Dogs 2. Then you got MotoGP 2022, which will be available on July 21st. This is the MotoGP racing game. You have Tournament Tides of Numenera, also available on July 21st. And this is just like a deep classic style of RPG with tons of narrative options as you're going through. Very text-based. You're going to be reading a lot of stuff from the videos that I've watched on this. And then finally, Inside, which is going to be available on July 29th. And Inside is an adventure platforming puzzle game with just a really unique atmosphere and art style. And when it first came out, really praised for how great of a game it was. So 6 games here on the slate for the second half of the Xbox Game Pass releases for July 2022. I'm sure a lot of people will be talking about As Dusk Falls and the story outcomes that they get, or just the outcomes throughout the entire adventure that will be different than other people who have played it. For me, that's the game I will be checking out. And out of the other ones here, not that interested really in anything else. I may play through Inside because I haven't played that yet. And like I said, it's one of those games that people really praised when it first released. So Xbox and Platinum Games are back in the rumors together once again. And this has to do with Platinum Games apparently approaching Microsoft to publish and fund their next game. We have no idea if Microsoft has agreed to this or if this actually occurred, as this is a rumor. This comes from Ixtasis, who apparently they say here has proved to be quite reliable regarding Microsoft rumors in the past few months, but definitely take this with a grain of salt. As we know, Platinum Games, they finally announced the release date for Bayonetta 3, so they're wrapping up that project and they're going to be looking forward to be making a new game once they're done that. They previously had the whole debacle with Scalebound, an Xbox game that was supposed to be an Xbox One exclusive that looked absolutely incredible. When they showed it off, a lot of people were excited for it. Definitely would have pushed people to the Xbox platform to go out and buy an Xbox One if that game was to actually have released and been a good game. There was a whole debate as to who was at fault for the cancellation of Scalebound. A lot of people were angry at Microsoft when that game got canceled, pretty much putting all of the blame on them. And Platinum Games, Hideki Kamiya, and Atsushi Inaba commented on Scalebound, saying that they would finish the game if Microsoft was willing to allow them to finish it. Now, they also commented on all of this stuff, and it really came down to both sides being at fault for why this game got canceled. In fact, speaking with Video Games Chronicle, Atsushi Inaba had this to say when it came to Scalebound and it being canceled, saying that it wasn't easy to watch. Both sides failed, but Platinum didn't do all of the things that they need to do as a developer. Continuing saying, watching fans getting angry at Microsoft over the cancellation wasn't easy for us to watch, because the reality is when any game in development can't be released, it's because both sides failed. I think there are areas where we could have done better, and I'm sure there are areas that Microsoft as a publishing partner wishes that they could have done better, because nobody wants a game to be canceled. So again, this is a rumor. We don't have any idea if this is something that's going to come to fruition. I feel like this has been something that's been talked about now for over a year or so. Platinum working together with Xbox for an Xbox game, an Xbox Game Pass game, day one game, all that type of stuff. And I honestly think Platinum does great stuff. I mean, I really do enjoy Bayonetta. I don't know if they would ever work with them again with Scalebound. What happened with that, there definitely would have to be a big improvement in the overall relationship, some more trust that was built between them, because they definitely can't have the same debacle as they had with Scalebound. And that's always a risk. It's always a risk when you sign a developer to make a game for your platform as a third party. There's always that risk that there could be a falling out and the game just doesn't come out, which is exactly what happened with Scalebound. But I would think it would be a decent idea to explore this for Xbox if they could get Platinum to make them a third-person action game to kind of get into that genre and have it exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem, to go against the competition out there with all of the third-person action games that are available exclusively for PlayStation platform. You got Bayonetta 3 now exclusive to the Nintendo Switch. If Xbox get Platinum to make them a really good, fast and fun and great gameplay, cool story style of game for the Xbox ecosystem, I'm sure people will love to see that. So we have another acquisition here that has been announced. So this is definitely a smaller acquisition, and it is another acquisition by PlayStation where they're trying to bolster their esports side of things as well as their multiplayer and games as a service side of things. All of that will play in with this type of acquisition. And this is the acquisition of the platform Repeat.gg. Now, honestly, I had never heard about Repeat.gg until this acquisition took place, but it seems like it's a relatively big platform for the esports scene. You go over here to the website, you can see the games played on this platform, over 268 million, the games that are available to be played, and you can see what it can do. You can play at tournaments, you have leaderboards and track results, all that type of stuff. Specifically, it says here, Repeat.gg hosts leaderboard tournaments that are designed to make esports more accessible. It tracks how players are performing in games, allowing them to participate in competitions without having to be online at the same time. Now, this purchase itself really is going along with the continued strategy that PlayStation is clearly trying to do, which is pick up esports games, get more games as a service and multiplayer games directly from PlayStation Studios, and then I'm assuming use these esports purchases and acquisitions in order to promote the games that they are going to be creating. As we know, last year in March, they purchased Evo, which is a huge fighting game tournament. It's a really fun tournament to watch. I really do enjoy watching fighting games in terms of the esports scene. And Jim Ryan talking about how Sony is going to be wanting to release 10 live service games by 2026. Some of those are definitely going to be some sort of multiplayer shooters and stuff like that that will probably be able to be utilized within the esports scene. Stephen Roberts, who is the president of global competitive gaming at SIE, says, at PlayStation, our vision for esports has always been about breaking down barriers for gamers to compete at all levels. Together with the talented Repeat.gg team, we're excited to explore more ways for players to engage in competitive gaming and expand the breadth of our esports offerings. This is just the start of our journey, and we look forward to sharing more updates with our community in the future. And then Aaron Fletcher, the CEO of Repeat.gg, says Repeat.gg was designed to enable new tournament formats that are easy to enter and scalable to millions of players. We're thrilled to join the PlayStation team and work together to enhance the variety of tournament experiences gamers can enjoy regardless of their skill level. Now, everyone always asks this question when it comes to acquisitions. Will this be something that's exclusive to the PlayStation platform? And again, this will not be the case, similar to the Bungie acquisition. As it says here, Repeat.gg stated it will continue to feature games on platforms outside of PlayStation, including mobile, PC, and other consoles, which, I mean, that's a very smart thing to do, especially when you look at the games that they have here. And these are all PC games and Xbox games, essentially. I mean, with Call of Duty going to be in Xbox Game Studios, they're not going to be removing the most popular games off of their platform to host PlayStation games, because really PlayStation doesn't have any multiplayer games that would be able to be hosted on a service like this. But maybe this is all part of the plan going forward, that in 10 years from now, PlayStation is going to have all of these esports services. They're going to have Evo, and that's where they're going to position themselves as a company, rather than directly trying to compete in other things like cloud gaming and these subscription services. They will have their own styles of that, but maybe they also know that they just can't compete at the same level because they don't have as big as of a company, and they don't have the technology that Xbox has with Azure specifically for cloud gaming. We'll have to wait and see, but it's definitely the generation of gaming where the companies are setting themselves up for the long run and for the future of how they're going to be operating in 10, 20, 30 years from now. That's it for me, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this month's Xbox Game Pass games, and will you be checking out As Dusk Falls? Do you think Xbox will work with Platinum again? And what are your thoughts on the PlayStation acquisition of Repeat.gg? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here, you liked what you saw, consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.